Two nurses walked into work in December 2025, both 25 years old, both healthy, both at the same hospital in India. Within days, both of them were fighting for their lives. Brain swelling, seizures, organ failure. One of them ended up on a ventilator. The cause was a virus with a death rate of up to 75%. No approved vaccine, no approved treatment, and nobody knows exactly where it came from. This is Nipah, and scientists have been quietly calling it one of the most dangerous viruses on the planet for over 2 decades. Here is why. Let us go back to where it started. Malaysia, 1998. A pig farmer in the state of Perak gets sick. Fever, headache. The symptoms look familiar. Doctors assume it is Japanese encephalitis, a known disease in the region. They treat accordingly. He gets worse. Then another farmer gets sick. Then another. Then the pigs start dying. Not a few pigs. Thousands of pigs. And the farmers who work with them keep ending up in a hospital. By the time scientists realize this is something entirely new, it has already spread across Malaysia. The outbreak resulted in 265 confirmed human cases. 105 people died. And to stop it, Malaysia had to do something almost unthinkable. They culled over 1 million pigs. Nearly half the entire pig population of the country. Gone. In weeks. And it cost over $500 million to contain. That was the first time the world met Nipah. It would not be the last. Scientists traced the virus back to its origin, fruit bats. Large flying bats called pteropus, found across South and Southeast Asia. The bats carry Nipah naturally. They do not get sick, but they shed the virus in their saliva, their urine, their feces. In Malaysia, the bats had roosted near the pig farms. The virus moved from bat to pig, and from pig to human. But here is where Nipah becomes truly different from almost any other virus. Once it is inside a human, it does not just cause fever, it goes for the brain. The virus infects the cells that line blood vessels in the brain. It causes inflammation, swelling, bleeding, seizures, coma. And it can do all of this within 24 to 48 hours of the first symptoms appearing. That window from feeling sick to being in a coma, 24 to 48 hours. And it spreads between humans. That is the detail that keeps virologists up at night. Not easily, not like flu, not through the air across a room, but through close contact with bodily fluids, which means healthcare workers are at the highest risk. The people trying to save patients are the ones most likely to become patients themselves. That is exactly what happened in India in January 2026. 2 nurses, same hospital, both infected. The source of their infection was still under investigation months later. Nobody knows exactly how they got it. Unknown. That word again. And this was not India's first time. This was India's 7th confirmed Nipah outbreak. 7th. Outbreaks in 2001, 2007, Kerala in 2018, Kerala again in 2021, Kerala again in 2023, and now West Bengal in 2026. Bangladesh has outbreaks almost every single year. Almost every year, this virus is not a rare once-in-a-decade event. It is a recurring threat that keeps coming back. And each time it comes back, it gets another opportunity. Another opportunity to do what viruses do. Mutate, adapt, improve. Or here is what makes Nipah uniquely terrifying from a scientific standpoint. It belongs to a family of viruses called henipaviruses. These viruses are what scientists call broad host range pathogens. They can infect a wide variety of species: bats, pigs, horses, dogs, cats, humans. Most viruses are specialists. They evolve to infect one type of host very efficiently. Nipah is a generalist. It can jump repeatedly across very different species, and every jump is a new experiment. Every new host is a new environment where the virus can change. The strain that circulates in Bangladesh is already slightly different from the one in Malaysia. The Bangladesh strain has shown more efficient human-to-human transmission. More efficient. That means the virus is already moving in a direction that should concern everyone paying attention. Let us talk about what Nipah actually does to the human body, because the clinical picture is one of the most disturbing in all of infectious disease. It starts like a bad flu, fever, headache, muscle aches. Then comes the dizziness, the drowsiness, the confusion. This is the encephalitis beginning. The brain is swelling. In severe cases, seizures begin within days. The patient loses consciousness. And in the worst cases, there is nothing medicine can do except watch. No antiviral drugs approved for use. No vaccine available to the public. Doctors manage symptoms. They support breathing. They manage seizures. And they wait. For roughly half of the people who develop severe Nipah encephalitis, the waiting ends badly. But here is something that rarely gets mentioned. For the survivors, it is not over. Around 1 in 5 survivors experience long-term neurological complications, recurrent seizures, personality changes, extreme fatigue that never fully goes away. The virus leaves a mark on the brain even after it is gone. Now let us talk about the scenario that the WHO and virologists openly discuss, the scenario they have named as a priority threat. What happens if Nipah mutates enough to spread easily between humans? Not through close bodily contact, through the air, through coughing, through breathing near an infected person. Right now, that barrier is what protects us. But that barrier is one mutation away from potentially changing. One small shift in how the virus attaches to human airway cells. And suddenly, a virus with a 75% death rate becomes airborne. To understand why that scenario is so alarming compared to anything we have seen before, the 1918 Spanish flu had a death rate of around 2 to 3%. It killed between 50 and 100 million people. Nipah kills up to 75% of those it infects. Scientists do not need to explain the math. The math explains itself. Here is what makes the situation in 2026 particularly concerning. Nipah cases are not disappearing. They are recurring, quietly, steadily. Deforestation in South and Southeast Asia is pushing fruit bat populations into closer contact with humans and livestock. The bats lose their forest. They roost near farms, near fruit orchards, near human settlements. Every year, the overlap between bat territory and human territory grows. Every year, there are more opportunities for the virus to jump. And climate change is expanding the range of fruit bats further north, into regions where Nipah has never been seen before. Regions with no surveillance systems watching for it. Regions with no medical protocols for dealing with it. If Nipah arrives somewhere new, the delay in recognizing it could be fatal. Remember Malaysia, 1998. Doctors spent weeks treating it as Japanese encephalitis, weeks of the wrong treatment while the virus spread. And the tools to fight it are still not there. Vaccine candidates exist. Antibody treatments are being tested. But as of today, there is no licensed vaccine for humans. No approved treatment for a virus that has been known since 1998, nearly 30 years. And we are still not ready. One virologist described the situation plainly. Nipah has all the characteristics of a pandemic pathogen. High lethality, animal reservoir, human-to-human transmission, no vaccine. It is not a question of if it causes a larger outbreak. It is a question of when. So, why has it not become a pandemic yet? The honest answer is partly science and partly luck. The current strains require close contact to spread. The outbreaks have tended to happen in more rural areas with lower population density. Indian and Bangladeshi public health teams have become increasingly skilled at rapid containment. In the 2026 West Bengal outbreak, 196 contacts were traced, tested, and monitored. All of them came back negative. That is effective public health work. But the virus is not making those decisions. It does not know about contact tracing. It does not care about containment protocols. It is just replicating, looking for the next host, getting better at what it does, one replication at a time. Here is the thought I want to leave you with. COVID changed the world, and its death rate was under 1%. Nipah kills up to 75% of those it infects. It spreads from human to human. It attacks the brain. It leaves long-term damage in survivors. There is no vaccine. There is no treatment. It is already recurring almost every year somewhere in Asia, and the conditions that allow it to spill over into humans are getting worse, not better. The WHO has listed Nipah as a priority pathogen for epidemic and pandemic preparedness. Priority pathogen. That means it is on the short list of viruses most likely to cause the next major outbreak. It has been on that list for years, and most people have never heard of it. That is what I want you to think about. The threats that scare scientists most are rarely the ones that make the biggest headlines. They are the quiet ones. The ones that come back every year. The ones that stay just contained enough to avoid global panic. The ones that keep getting another chance to change. Nipah has been getting those chances since 1998. And one day, the math is going to look different. The question is whether we will be ready when it does, or whether we will be explaining it after the fact. Again. Do you think viruses like Nipah get enough attention before they become a crisis? Or does the world only start listening after the bodies are counted? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this video made you think differently about the world around you, there is one small thing you can do. Hit subscribe, because every week we go deeper into the things that live, spread, and evolve in the shadows of nature. Viruses, fungi, parasites, the hidden world that most people never see. You found this channel for a reason. Do not miss what comes next.